Exhale Pro Stories invites you to join us as we explore the High Road Beyond Borders tour, an exciting journey to Thailand. Together, we'll learn about the rich culture, evolving landscape, and current state of the cannabis market as it exists in Thailand today. Take the High Road tour with us and discover what's possible beyond borders.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, y'all. It is time for another episode of Exhale Pro Stories. I'm Fame Noel, your host, and this is where we explore the humans behind the brands. We are proud to be official media partners with the High Road Tour Beyond, or the High Road Beyond Borders Tour, and they are stopping in Thailand. So get your passports ready. This tour was created by international market pioneer and 30-year cannabis veteran Monica Marie Garcia. And we are going to get into the Thailand sponsors today. So this is super exciting. Yesterday, we talked to some of our media partners. Today, we're digging into the sponsors. These are the people that are really powering this tour and helping to make it happen on top of the leadership. So yeah, we're really excited and we're going to get right into it. So who we have today is Meilani Tekaki from Izumo Green. So I want you guys to give a warm welcome. Welcome, Meilani.
Hi, Swadika, and aloha. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you, Fame.
You're actually the first person that I was able to talk to who's actually based in Thailand. There's nothing like hearing it from the horse's mouth. So we definitely are excited to do that today.
And it is the year of the horse. So yay for that.
It is the year of the horse. I'm so glad you pointed that out. All right. So we want to learn a little bit about the culture over in Thailand currently. You know, can you give us a snapshot about what's going on there legislation wise, you know, how it may be impacting dispensaries? I know as of 6 months ago, they were moving to recriminalize cannabis out there. So I know it's been a back and forth. The same, honestly, very similar to what had been taking place in a lot of states here in the United States. So what's your perspective on what's happening over there?
Sure. So it definitely has been a lot of back and forth. So I came in 2023 when it became recreational. So then that's when we actually opened our spot and dispensary bar and lounge. And it was full of, you know, over like 9,000 dispensaries you have at that time. And since then, it's always had a medical backing, but wasn't fully regulated or enforced. So now they're starting to implement everything that you have when it becomes medical, especially for exporting, right? So you have more testing, which is, you know, obviously a great thing. We want to know like what's inside of the cannabis, right? Who's growing it? Where are we getting it from? So those kinds of things are always great to implement, obviously, for our industry. But as far as like the back and forth, it's so unstable as far as with the politics in Thailand, right? So it's been talked about being criminalized, but it's not going to be. They just want to do full medical. So now they're trying to transition after they gave us 3 years of the complete wild, wild west, you know, and everyone's having a great time. And there was, you know, and it built the economy. It was all positive. We had great events. Everyone was very respectful. You had a few, you know, complaints here and there, but there was nothing that happened specifically for them to be like, oh, this is terrible, right? So we really had a great time. However, as you know, the government shifts and, you know, different political plays, they do want to come back and really reinforce it as medicinal. And that's going to be a hard shift, and it's scared away a lot of companies, especially internationally, that have put a lot of time and money and also moved themselves to Thailand to be part of this, you know, journey in Asia and really building the industry here because it's super important. It's been part of the culture for so long. So when you look at it from a cultural angle, it makes sense, right? But then from you know, an outside perspective of people that don't know about cannabis or aren't consumers or aren't users, but do have medical problems, they need more explanation and more education. So It has been a very difficult year last year for everyone in the cannabis industry, especially like smaller farms that are doing real nice organic cultivation that's the kind of, product you do want to consume. And they're Thai families as well. So you want to be able to, give that to the tourist and the locals that are there. But unfortunately, because of so many regulations that they've put on us now, it does cost a lot more money to maintain a dispensary and a cultivation. You need a lot more certifications in play. There are some ways that you can not have to go full on if you're not exporting, if you're just doing domestic or just selling to just the dispensaries in Thailand, then it's a little bit easier to do all that paperwork per se, but it has been a real struggle last year for Thailand. But overall, it can be and it will be like a really great thing. It's just getting through this transition. And I think what you guys are doing is great because both sides can learn from each other. The US can learn from Thailand. We're very cost effective. We know how to work, and run efficiently on a specific budget. We also have a lot of knowledge in agriculture and other plant medicine, right? So we see different angles, and we don't look at it as like a huge stigma that's been put on the plant. It's not like how it is in the US. So you're fighting, but you're fighting a different battle, but the same. Right. I don't know if that makes sense. But I am Japanese and Hawaiian, so it's very strongly been part of Japanese culture, it's been part of Thai culture. That's why we're here. Right. And so when you have that, it's like, even though, yes, when all the prohibitions started, it did affect, but it's not so, there isn't a strong stigma. Like the Thai people are aware that it grows freely and it is part of their culture because there are other plants that are being used in other products in America and all over the world that come from Southeast Asia. So it's not like, oh no, cannabis, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't say it's as strong as you feel it in the US. I mean, once you have the history written, right? And you can, for example, you can go to different museums in Asia. You can see the hemp that's grown. You can see the process that cannabis went through. And so when you look at that, it's already written. It's already in the textbooks. The Thai aunties, the Asian aunties, they're already putting it in the teas. They use it in their own way medicinally. So it's not something that they look at like, oh, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Right. So it's a different angle, and it's so inspiring because it's something that they meaning whoever's against it, right? You can't take that away. You really can't take that away. That's the real. It's the truth.
I know a lot of people over here in the US have voiced that they're really excited. A lot of the other media partners to just really get a better understanding of what's happening over there. So we talked about the culture, in Thailand and Japan, right? Yep. Around cannabis. Yep. So I want to look specifically at the culture at Izumo Green. What do you all stand for? What is your bottom line? What do you hope to achieve with the medicine that you're creating?
Sure. So Izumo, the name Izumo is actually, it comes from the shrine, and it's the oldest and largest shrine in Japan. And it actually has this giant rope that's made out of hemp. So it's called a shimenawa. And that's why we're called Izumo Green. So it's a gathering place for like the deities, and there's a lot of history behind that. But it's a very strong stance for Japanese culture and directly involved with hemp. So basically, again, from the cultural angle, but what we do is when we cultivate, it's all organic. We don't use any chemicals. We've always done just strictly organic. And I know a lot of people, when they hear organic, it means a lot of different things, especially in a lot of different countries. But this is just, honestly, it just is organic. We make our own fertilizer. We don't use any products. We partnered with some great fertilizer and nutrient companies that are all organic. So that's super exciting. But it took us years to, find those people. So from cultivation to when we put it into our, offer it to our consumer.
And may I ask you, what led you personally to come into the cannabis space?
So I've been a professional dancer. So I was working with Tokyo Disneyland in Japan, and I was in the entertainment industry since 2003 in Japan. So I put my body through a lot from dancing. And then I started working with different athletes in pain management and things like that. So when CBD actually made its way to Japan in 2013, I was able to work with companies in the US that had pain creams and tinctures and all different kinds of really effective products. And this was from 2014 for about 6 years. I was bringing in different products and, giving them to athletes and helping Japanese build the brand, but also understand the endocannabinoid system, because that's where it had to start. There was no education. They were just like, oh, it's a product from America. It's going to work. It's going to work great. But they needed to understand how it worked. So I got really involved professionally and started, working on that, because it worked for me on my body personally from what I was putting, dancing 4 shows a night. So I was putting my body through like strenuous situations, and it helped me, So, and Japanese, they have a big culture, also like a big gathering culture, drinking, izakaya, but also, when you introduced CBD back then, they didn't necessarily think cannabis right away. They're like, oh, CBD, it was more of a trend, face masks, pain cream, tinctures, things like that. So we had some small little festivals there that started to happen. And then when the Tokyo Olympics came, and the World Anti-Doping Agency removed CBD from the list. So the athletes that were coming, the Olympians that were coming, were able to, take CBD and use that as their therapy or pain relief and help them with their performance. So once that happened, we were like doing great. We had, the Olympics on board, everything was great. And then of course the pandemic hit. So then that kind of deterred away from, continuing that specific journey. But once Thailand went full recreational, that's when, a few companies were like, hey, let's do the storefront, let's do the brand, let's open this up, let's give the presence, because once you give the presence and the brand, then you can tell the story.
Okay. What makes this Thailand cannabis tour different from typical industry events or trade missions?
This high road tour, not only backed by like strong media companies and, what you guys are already doing right now, but it's not surface level. So it's already in depth. You're already connecting with the farmers, the cultivators, you're walking into these facilities that you wouldn't really walk into or be invited to. It would take, years of relationship building. And that's what is happening, really getting into the farms and meeting with the people that, have been there from the beginning, or, their journey on why they came there and how they're impacting the industry. And then you're also meeting with people that, are writing, legislation, or that are, making the decision makers, and then you're meeting with the companies that have survived through all of this, and it's everyone has their different story, but this isn't something that you can just, Google, right? So it's very selective, and it's been handpicked and very well put together. And I'm excited. Izumo Green is always excited to be on board, especially with you guys. And we've seen some of the other sponsors that have joined, and it's like, it's awesome, because you don't see this kind of sponsorship and different. We're all from like super different, areas. And that's what's so unique about it.
And like you said, you can't Google these experiences. These are things that you have to go and experience yourself. You have to be in those rooms. So, thank you all for inviting us into those rooms and into those spaces. I can't stress enough how important professional business relationships are. And when someone opens their door to you to meet their contacts, to meet their network, that does a lot to me. That's like opening your home to them, right? They're going to have an amazing time V is an amazing dot connector. That's why she's there, right? Shout out to V, the traveling cannabis writer, connecting all of us, connecting the world. You know, she traveled the US, she traveled to many islands. You make sure you guys check out her book as well. We're gonna make sure we put a link in the caption for that. The traveling cannabis writer's guide to hidden American gems. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yes.
I think I got it.
Yeah. We cannot wait to have that. Yeah.
Why did you personally, you and your company, choose to invest in the High Road Beyond Borders tour rather than waiting to see what happens? Because this is new, right? So let's point this out. Like you said, this is something new that's happening over here in Thailand.
I mean, honestly, there's a few different reasons for me personally, but I would say as a company and its whole, it's always about timing, right? So what we've gone through the past 3 years and just what the industry has gone through, right? And seen. So it's definitely, we're seeing a shift here. So it's super important to be able to shape the conversation. And this allows us to be at the forefront of it and be in those relationships, because it is changing, you know, globally. I mean, we see how many countries are opening up, right? So it's not, it's as I said before, it's something like never happened before, this kind of tour, right? But along with that, it's so important to be, you know, active right now, you know, while everything is changing, and to be able to shape the industry and lead it in the direction that it needs to go. This is for the people that, you know, believe it's going to be, our industry is long term. It's not going anywhere. This is for the people that are going to stick around. If you're really in this industry for the long term and you're in Thailand, this is definitely a project and a tour to be part of. It's legendary, and we never know what's going to happen next year.
I love that. Legendary.
So, yeah.
Don't be a bandwagoner, late to the party. You know, like I was with Bitcoin, you know.
Right? Whoops.
Sorry, that might have triggered some people, you know. No, but it's so true. It's something that's here to stay. And despite the seemingly volatile state of the cannabis market, there's only one direction you can go with this. You know, people aren't going to say no to money. So it's a matter of adjusting. It's a matter of pivoting. If this is a space you want to be in for the right reasons, figuring out, getting ahead of the curve, what's going on with legislation, what's this going to look like in 5 to 10 years, doing your analyses, you know, all of that is super important. But I can say that, again, it's something, it's almost like everyone loves. It's like eating or breathing. Like,
yeah. Definitely.
It's a commodity at this point, like gasoline, I feel, you know. Even people, when you can't afford nothing else, you're gonna afford your weed for the month, your medicine. It's your medication.
Absolutely. At every stage I've been in my life, I've always had, you know, good weed.
We have the culture that we're experiencing now because of laws and politics and government, but way back when none of these infrastructures existed, there was us and there was the plant, you know, and we have to take it back to that. And I think that was really a moment in my mind, because years ago, maybe like 20 years ago, I was someone who was affected by the stigma of cannabis, right? And in the sense that I didn't know anything about the plant. Mm-hmm. I knew what it was associated with. Me being a person of color, I didn't want to be associated with that. So I separated myself from people who did that. I made negative remarks about people who smoked cannabis. And I'm saying this to say it was all from a place of ignorance, right? And the more I learned about it, and the more I began to integrate into my life, and the turning point was learning about the culture behind it, learning about the fact that this is what generations before me used to heal themselves. It makes you have a different understanding and respect for the plant versus, oh, this is something that someone uses to get high. So these conversations, like, I can't thank you enough again for joining us and sharing your perspective over there from Thailand. I know he's going to have an amazing time over there. Already trying to send for me.
I know. I hope you get over here. That'd be awesome.
So real quick, Meilani, how do the viewers get in touch with you?
I mean, they can go to izumogreen.com, or they can follow us on Instagram. It's izumo.green. And I'm Meilani Land on Instagram. So you can reach out to me directly. I can give you my WhatsApp and conversate with you guys. I'm always open, to talk about, anything cannabis related, plant medicine related. So we have a lot of exciting things. I just want to say I shared just a little bit with you today, Fame. And I hope that I get to talk to you again, because we have a lot more exciting things that we're looking forward to share with you and have you cover as well. So definitely, if you guys haven't already, please join the High Road tour. It's going to be amazing and insane and just so much fun.
I also want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors and partners. We have Marijuana Ventures as a media partner, Bake by AI sponsor, Siam Green, Izumo Green, the Beach Samui, Cash Colored Cannabis, Psychedelic States of America. We can't forget V, the traveling cannabis writer. For the pros out there, thank you so much for listening. You can find this episode on YouTube and anywhere podcasts are found. And make sure you subscribe to Exhale Social Pro by visiting exhalesocial.com. Go to the pro section of our website. We don't just have fun. We got some professional tips on there and wellness tips for business professionals. So make sure y'all check that out. Y'all have a good one. Look forward to seeing y'all. Look forward to seeing the footage.
Everyone, get your passports ready, because the High Road Beyond Borders is coming to Thailand. Swadee ka.